is dead. Like, he's dead.
He's dead.
It's done.
Al Kukui is no more.
Shame. Actually, as everyone knows who watches this podcast, I'm a massive, massive, massive Michael Chandler fan.
Yeah.
I wasn't celebrating that knockout hard. I wasn't going like, yo, let's go, Michael. Because I was like, Tony's still out.
Yeah.
It's been a minute and Tony's still out and Michael's backflipping.
Yeah, he's just doing backflips. And it was so fun. It was such an awkward thing to watch as well.
Kind of surreal.
Because you're happy for him, but then you just see those two devil wings on Tony's back. He's not moving.
Fallen angel.
Yeah.
Bah, dead.
Yeah, what a fight.
What a fight. I thought
Greatest
we had...
front kick KO
yes.
of all time.
Oh, yes. Like, it was just the brutality of it, the violence in that front kick.
And the whole stadium sounded quiet. Like super quiet.
Yes. That was like the most surreal part. Dude, did I just witness a murder?
Yeah.
Like, Tony should press charges after that. Goodness.
That was a great fight. Awesome.
I mean, we had like old school Tony Ferguson back for a while.
Yeah.
He was looking really, really good. And I was like, okay,
yeah,
we've got a war on our hands.
Yes.
And then he just flatlined.
But it was he showed some very good signs of progression, if you can call it that. Just like insane improvements in not taking that. Well, obviously it took some damage, but not taking that much damage in the first round. Yes. He got taken down. He threw elbows, those signature elbows from the bottom. So it was cool to see him back.
Also, what a takedown by Mike.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, like, that was powerful.
Michael, he's such an entertaining fighter.
Yeah.
There's no way you can't like him.
Yeah. And it is a thing of like, he really, like, we watched the post-event press conference as well, and you can see Dana White, it makes sense to make Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor at 170.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. So give that man the fight.
Give it.
I'm a big proponent. I don't want to see Chandler fight Oliveira now, because we'll get to that, but holy shit. But give him the fight. He deserves that.
The only thing I don't like about that fight, I like both guys. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go in there and be like, oh,
yeah,
can't both of you just win?
It's going to be a conundrum.
Yeah.
Who do you back?
I don't know who I'm backing for that fight. That's my big issue.
If that happens, we're going to have an in-depth
discussion, pros and cons of each person.
Exactly. And then just to see who
I like more.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be like
Conor has a restaurant.
Conor has a restaurant. Conor, like the thing is, Conor's got me into MMA.
Yes.
Like he's always going to be that OG guy, always respect him, always want to see him do well. And then there's Mike Chandler, who's just like...
He's a poet.
He's
respectful.
He puts on bangers.
And he's a demon in the cage.
Yes.
The power he throws with is insane.
A lot of people like to say Justin Gaethje is the most violent man in the UFC.
Yeah.
I kind of think Chandler has taken that crown a little bit from him.
Yeah.
To be the most violent man.
I agree with you on that. 100%. I'm a big Michael Chandler fan since always. I remember the first fight when he made his debut. We watched that fight together as well, and I told you to check out for this man.
I lost money to you.
Yes.
I lost the golf.
Yeah.
We went playing golf later, and I was broke as shit.
Yes, and you had to still you had to cover my golf fees
and
as well.
my own. I was like, oh goodness, because I was banking on the fact that Dan Hooker's gonna win and I'm gonna get a free golf. I'm like, okay, if I get a free golf, my financials are going perfect. And I had to pay 2 golfs. Oh, goodness.
That's like a very small equivalent of putting your life savings into one bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Have a diversified portfolio.
Yeah. Yeah, but what a great fight. It makes sense to with that division. It's just...
Who else do you give the title shot to? There's Makhachev, obviously. Yeah. He's won top 10 fight, not
Makhachev is up there, and then I really just think it's him, to be honest.
I wouldn't be mad if they gave him Oliveira next. I wouldn't be mad at all.
Oliveira
Gaethje rematch.
Yeah.
Baby.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't be mad at a Chandler Oliveira rematch.
Yes.
For the belt. I was like, okay, great.
Yeah. And then Conor and Chandler. I'm a big proponent for that fight.
Can you imagine?
Imagine the gate. Imagine imagine Chandler says, sure, let's do it in Ireland.
Yeah, bro. The power, the absolute kilojoules that those guys can put out. I mean, Chandler hits like a truck at 155, right? Yeah.
put
Can you imagine
25,
that puts 15 pounds on?
15 pounds on that.
7 kgs onto his already very thick frame.
Yeah.
Boy, he's going to hit like a train.
That's crazy. That will be a crazy fight.
And
they should make it also no ground game. Nothing. Like,
yeah.
just stand up.
I can't. Well, Chandler might shoot.
Yeah,
but I mean,
he might shoot.
I mean, Conor also has this effortless power.
Yes.
And that's something that I don't think Gaethje has. Well, Oliveira, even there was like Oliveira.
Gaethje has a lot of power, but not effortless. Man,
exactly.
how he
like,
threw in those punches. Some of those overhands he threw, like literally swept him off his own feet.
I saw he threw like a left hook overhand kind of thing, and he put himself off balance. And that's where you see Oliveira calling out McGregor, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's a rational take on this would be, there's a lot of people that just go, yo, Conor McGregor is the greatest of all time. A rational take would be, Oliveira is very hittable.
Yes.
And Conor McGregor has this effortless one-shot knockout.
Yeah, if you're looking at it like that, and then if you look at the flip of the coin, Oliveira is scary.
He is scary.
Watching that fight, it's like, so obviously all fights are violent, but you can almost see the intention he had behind that. Obviously there was the controversy of the weight cuts and the scales being out, all that stuff, but he had so much violent intent. It was really scary to watch. He's so good. It's really hard to see anyone take the title from him.
The only way that like McGregor does it, or anyone does it, is with that one shot, like magic. If you can, because he takes a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
Gaethje couldn't put him out. Chandler couldn't put him out. Can McGregor put him out with one of those left hands? See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If he can't do that, he's in with a big shout.
Yeah.
If not, then Oliveira's just gonna take him down and smash him.
We said it before the fight as well. The best chance, the best chance Gaethje has of losing is going to the ground. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like, I think Khabib exposed Gaethje's ground game for what it is a lot. And I think Charles knew that. Going into that fight, he capitalized on that and he went with that intent.
Because Gaethje wasn't engaging with him on the ground. He'd drop him and then he'd be like, get him to stand up again.
Yes. And I like that because Gaethje knows don't mess with him on the ground. So
do you think the Mac would do that?
If he drops him, he'll come back up. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think he'll let him back up?
Yeah.
Or do you think he goes in and tries to pound him?
I think no. I think he's too. Yeah. I think Oliveira, I think the whole division should be scared for his ground game, including, that's what makes the Makhachev fight so interesting, because that's the only guy I see not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't see him dropping.
No, he doesn't.
Oliveira, but
Oliveira might drop him.
I think he'll take the fight to the ground, and that's a great fight.
I like Makhachev Oliveira.
I do not like the Oliveira Conor fight at all.
Neither does Conor. He's like, I like being built like a refrigerator.
He tweeted that afterwards.
Chandler McGregor, much better. Much
Take
better.
my money, please. Yeah. So we'll probably get to see Islam fight.
It's a good fight. I mean, Makhachev doesn't get hit.
Yeah.
He is incredibly good on the ground.
Yeah.
He doesn't have power, so he's not gonna do that to Oliveira. But it's gonna be a long ass fight. You'll see, does Dagestani grind wrestling work against Oliveira?
Yeah.
Like, does
against
Oliveira
proper jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And that's only time will tell. That's a very cool fight to make. I hope they make that. It makes sense. It will be a pity for Beneil Dariush, because I think he's scheduled to fight or not. I think they want to rebook the fight, but it's not scheduled. So then Dariush is
he's almost without a dancing partner at that stage.
Well, give him that British guy, that Brendan Allen,
or the winner of Fiziev RDA.
Fiziev RDA, give him the winner of that.
Boy, I can't wait for that fight.
That's going to be a crazy fight. RDA looked dangerous in his last fight, and Fiziev as well. So
I'm a little bit on that. I'm on that Fiziev hype train.
I enjoy him a lot. I like him. Dude, I want him to win out of the two.
Such high level striking.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot of Peter Yan in the sense of very composed, very structured.
It's also a Tiger Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah. So they all have like that patent of,
and then a killer spinning back.
Yes.
Both of them have
Yeah.
that. You're
like a gunshot. Yeah, it's very cool. So we had probably the most. Is that the most boring fight ever?
bro, definitely the most boring title fight ever.
That co-main event between Carla Esparza and
Snooze
Rose
fest.
Namajunas. Now, a big thing coming out of that was definitely the corner management of both teams. If I get, okay, Rose is like mentally, I don't know if she's always there, and she relies a lot on
self-affirmation.
Self-affirmation, but also affirmation from her husband and her coaches and stuff like that. And but they were completely wrong.
The thing is, Pat Barry was in a corner. If you have Trevor Whitman in your corner, you let Trevor Whitman take your corner. He needs to lead the corner.
Yeah.
Not Pat Barry, because he was going out there. He was like, he told her, listen, you're 4 rounds up.
Yeah.
Firstly, and he's like, they booing. That means you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Really not.
It made no sense.
No sense.
And then you can also see Trevor Whitman, because he doesn't want to rude and shout at her. He doesn't want to do anything that might affect the next round's performance.
They obviously agreed. Listen, Pat Barry's going to take lead in your corner, and he kind of felt like he had to respect that. That's what I think happened.
Yes. But I really think if that was any other coach, like I've seen corner work where it was like where people shout. My own corner has been like, what are you doing? Like, get your shit together. And that's sometimes you need that. You need to have that rude awakening of like, you are messing up. You need to fix this now. And does that apply pressure? Yes, a lot. But rather that than watching the fight at home, and then you were like, okay, I could have actually done a lot more. And that's what makes that fight so disappointing.
See, that's the thing. She's in the post-fight press conference. She's like, no, I won that fight, definitely. I'm like, Rose, go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. Rewatch the whole fight.
Both of you lost.
Yeah.
I'm not...
Everyone lost.
I don't care. I don't care that Carla has the belt. I don't care if
Yeah.
you have the belt. You both lost. It was a snooze fest. Shit fight. Don't book it again.
Yeah, well, now we'll get to see Weili Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Banger.
Banger.
Please. Or hopefully a banger. Because I thought this was going to be a banger.
But their first fight was a banger. They went to war. That was such a taxing fight. Joanna had to take off like 2 years.
Yeah.
And to get her face fixed. And now they're going to rebook that. Joanna and Weili beats Carla.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Carla, I don't know, dude. She looks like a bit of a tunny in there. I'm like,
But again, Rose beats Weili and Joanna. Well, depending... The previous performance we've seen...
Mentally?
Rose should beat them.
Should, yeah. Mentally, I think Carla just had that over Rose. Being like, listen, she was on top. She couldn't get out. And just this weight and being smashed.
Yes.
I mean... I think Rose was really, really scared of Carla.
Yeah, maybe it was the fear of that first fight that really took over.
I can promise you it was
the decisions made.
Because Zhang and Joanna are way, way, way scarier than Carla Esparza. If you're standing across, if you have to choose, I have to stand across one of these three. I'm standing across from Esparza.
Yeah, Esparza and then Joanna Jędrzejczyk and then
Weili.
Yeah, I think Zan beats the shit out of me. She just looks like, and everything looks hard. Everything looks super sore. I don't think Joanna has a lot of punch power. Okay. I think Weili Zhang has a shitload of punch power.
Yeah, and it's disappointing. Rose was looking so good on the pad. She's so crisp.
Yeah.
Like, even in the cage, she's moving, and you're like, okay.
Even those glimpses of wrestling where she, like, really tight, like, grabbed her wrist, broke the clinch,
the roll,
scrambled, the roll. Everything looked good. She just should have done more.
Even with the movement, I'm like, okay, you're looking extremely dangerous while you're moving in front of her. But, okay, now just... engage. Put that into practice.
But the fight before that awesome knockout, and then obviously
main event.
Oliveira, the main event. Like we said, he's a scary human being. I don't know what fight they'll make.
I could see brain cells like just evaporating.
Yeah. Just
they hit hard.
They hit
but
so
both
hard.
Of them.
Yeah, and I think also, but that's also the thing. It's something you see in the Esparza fight, you saw in the Gaethje fights as well. And it was the fear of going down to the floor. That made a lot of guys either rethink what they'll follow up with or be like, okay, I knocked him down. That's great. I should win the round like that. But I can't finish him. I can't finish him there. So it's almost as if the sport is going to a point where if you don't knock out someone clean and they have a good ground game, it's still 50-50.
One guy who did engage, who knocked Charles Oliveira down and then was like, okay, listen, I'm gonna whack you now, is Michael Chandler.
Yes.
And that's why I kind of like Michael Chandler against Oliveira.
But Oliveira wasn't on his back then. Like, I think if it was on his back,
maybe a different story.
Maybe like a guard situation, because he was on his knees and he like crouched down and then he went for those punches. So
I don't think Chandler's as scared of his ground game as the other guys. I mean, he had Oliveira on his back, backpacking him.
Yes.
And then he was like, okay.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of confidence in his wrestling as well.
He does.
Too.
And then he just dropped his hands, got complacent, and got knocked out. I think a rematch maybe goes another way.
Yes, definitely.
I really, really like Michael Chandler for either Conor or Oliveira. Whatever you book him for,
like that.
I'm on board. I'm watching that fight.
Conor, don't fight Oliveira. That's a bad fight.
That's not a good fight for him.
It's not a.
It's going to be done quickly.
Yeah.
You know, Conor McGregor and Oliveira aren't going to go to war. Yeah. Either Conor is going to find that switch.
Yeah.
Or Oliveira's gonna just take him down.
One is getting caught. One is gonna get caught slipping.
But Chandler Oliveira could be a war, because I want that. I want
that makes me excited.
I want Michael Chandler to just have, I don't know, like do insane cardio. Go train. Michael Chandler with Colby Covington cardio is a scary dude.
That's crazy.
Also at EFC. Your training partner and my coach.
Yes.
What a knee, Steph.
Stefan DQ De La Rey.
That was beautiful.
Came, he fought my previous opponent, Zweli Banzing Gema, and went out in the first round. Actually surprised us. Sorry?
Made you look bad.
Yeah, he finished him so quickly, but I was so happy for him, man.
Oh, same.
He had such a good performance. And after being, like, I don't think people realize, he hasn't fought in 2 years. So it's been 2 years layoff. It's been some struggles with injuries, getting back into it, and just I was so proud to not only have him there on weight, everything, but also the whole lead up. It was like something did switch mentally, definitely, and you could see that in his performance. He was very composed, and in all the DQ fashion afterwards, he already started focusing on the mistakes he made, and it's like, man, you can just enjoy this for about an hour at least.
I didn't see a lot of mistakes. I'm not gonna lie.
No, all the technical issues, but that's what's gonna make him better. Is being like, okay, I won, that's great, whatever, but let's focus on the next
featherweight contender.
He's on a 4-fight win streak.
4-fight win.
Yeah. So dude, I think he'll fight. Hopefully 3 more times this year.
3 more? That's a lot.
2 or 3 more times this year. That's pretty realistic, if everything goes well. But that instep knee was perfectly timed. Perfectly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And the whole team was very happy to.
I was at home
there.
looking at that.
Yeah.
I actually gave some money to the EFC, which I'm not super proud of. It was worth it. Graham, you got me this time. Well done. It was a banger of a card. I must say. Like the whole EFC last night, I was extremely impressed.
Yes. Yeah, it was cool.
It was a great card.
It was cool. That main event was insane.
Bro.
That was crazy. That's Souza. I don't even know what.
How do you fight? Fighting like Bisping does with your front eye open is one thing.
Yeah.
Fighting with your back eye open, that's a whole nother ball game. Like how do you do that?
Yeah.
And then win rounds.
Yeah, that was crazy. That first round was
weird stuff with the judging.
It was quite controversial. I can't remember what the score was.
I'm happy with what I mean with controversial for me personally was the outcome of a draw. Okay, fine,
we can agree. The chances of that first round being a 10-8 round was very good, very damn good. High. Like I didn't like Zulu's chances after that first round at all. And the second round I can see as a draw.
Yeah, whatever. 10-9 this way, that way. 10 that doesn't matter.
You can see that as a quite of a. But then not scoring the first round at 10-8, but scoring the third round at 10-8 by one of the judges.
So I'm just going to, the one judge scored a 10-9 against Zulu the first round.
Yes.
And then, in a less dominant fashion, I would argue, in the last round, he or she scored a 10-8 for Zulu. I'm like, listen, if that third round is a 10-8 for Zulu, then that first round is definitely a 10-8 against him. That was a bit weird for me.
It was weird. And because the first round was much more of a 10-8 than the last round. Or do you value later rounds more? Because it's later rounds. I don't know. I think if that was a 5-round fight, none of that would have happened. Yeah. Because you're still headlining a card. If you're headlining a card...
I thought it was 5 rounds.
I also thought it was 5 rounds. I was surprised. Sure. Yeah. So then after the third round, the music started playing. I was like, it's only 3 rounds. So maybe the UFC can look at. I don't think it's going to happen a lot that they'll have a main event that doesn't have a title. But if that happens, they should maybe try to see if they can make it 5 rounds.
Because a main event is always going to be a contender.
Yes.
It's always going to be someone who's up next.
But no, that's the other thing as well. Why? That was a contender fight. Okay.
At bantamweight for flyweight or some...
Yeah. So they were actually supposed to fight at flyweight.
Yeah.
To check who's the number 1 contender for the flyweight title. Yes. And then some advertisement, like a poster came out announcing that it's at bantamweight. But it's still a...
number 1 contender spot for flyweight.
A contender for flyweight. So that also doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But hats off to both. That was a crazy fight. I would like to see the rematch.
Logistics and
who has the flyweight title? I don't even know.
Anyway, check. Whatever you do, rematch them. I'm happy with the draw. A draw there was very fair because I thought maybe a 10-8 in the first round and then he won the second. Yeah. And they won the second, won the third with 10-9s. And I was like, oh, okay.
I want to try and see who the flyweight champion is.
So 48-48, I think it was pretty fair for that fight. That's what I would score it at least.
Yeah. And then we had Lethando Biko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's the champion.
Well, let these guys rematch. Honestly, that was a banger. Yeah. I want to see it again.
Yes.
And I think there's going to be adjustments from both sides.
Yeah. Well, we had an actual flyweight fight on that card as well. Dann, Moodley and Gift Walker. That was a great fight.
Gift is
very good fight.
Gift is a bona fide contender.
Yeah.
And you fought him and you said he hits. What teenage Cameron can remember is he hits.
He hits hard. He hits really hard. Yeah, and you could see that in that fight. He clipped him with a left, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a great fight. That's a big win for him as well. Fighting a guy that is technically very good, but doesn't have a lot of punch power. He's mainly a stand-up fighter.
In there, Sancho wasn't big enough.
Yeah, he was a little bit small. He was a bit small, and but Dunshil is still technically an international fighter. He fought with Brave, so that's a big win for Gift. I do not know. So as far as I know, the PESFA team in East London, they are in very good relationship with the House of Tinkerbell guys. So every time they come up here, they train together. Okay. So that would make stuff quite complicated if Gift has to fight Lethando. That's why I think the UFC is banking on getting a contender to first fight Lethando before Gift moves up. And it makes sense to give Gift the winner of or the winner, because he called out the loser of
the main event.
And then having the winner, but now with a draw,
makes things
quite hard.
I don't know. Just let him wait in the wings, do the rematch. Yeah. Both of those guys deserve the rematch. Yeah.
And then I don't know who you give Gift to.
I don't know. Not a lot.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the flyweights a lot. It's a pretty small division as far as I know. So I'm not going to fight flyweight.
No way. You're a big bantamweight already.
Yeah.
Your previous fight with Ruvan, I could see afterwards. Whoa, there's definitely a size difference there. The thickness, baby. Woo. So yeah, 4th of June. I'm looking forward to it.
Another month. 4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks. 4 weeks. This was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it is. And that's like since I went pro, that was the whole idea, is to I want to fight as much as possible.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, and I think a lot of people, like most fighters don't do it the way we do it, but I'm always in camp. Even after fights, I go out, sometimes party, stuff like that, but it's really not for like a week, and then we go back to full training schedule, sleep schedule. Like I think most of my friends, family know by 9 o'clock I'm down.
I knew that, but I only figured out, you told me last night, I'm on a strict sleep schedule.
Yes. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So having that sleep schedule, and I got so used to it, it's now just a normal part of life. Schedule. Something that people would say is like camp life.
Yeah,
we do every single day. So when I went pro, like the idea was to stay as active as possible, and then obviously COVID happened, so that.
But I mean, eating well, sleeping well, and training hard. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's
all year long.
And also that if this is your full-time job, that is what you should be doing. We watched that embedded video where Michael Chandler was in the sauna, and then he listened to a video where it explains what happens when you sit in a sauna, and he then talks about he's a high performance athlete, but he also has an interest in what he's doing, and he wants to be educated on that. And that was quite cool to see, because he's firstly super professional, obviously, but you can see he has a passion for all the small things he does, and look at the results he gets of that. So it's very cool to see like hard work paying off. But again, fights.
The thing is, there's guys that do it right, and then there's guys that do it wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to live like Paddy the Baddie, do it. But no, you have a ceiling.
Yeah. You don't like Paddy at all.
He's a good example.
He is a good example. I can't imagine picking up, is it 20 pounds? 20 kilos. I can't imagine picking up 20 kilos is healthy. No. Doing that every single time.
Let's say you walk around at 85 fat kilograms. Yeah. And then you have to get back down, and then they tell you, okay, in 3 months you're fighting again. And then you have to shed all that weight again.
Yeah. I don't know how. But it's working for him. That's the amazing thing of fighting. Like there's so many, I've seen guys not having sleep schedules, not focusing on diet, not training as hard as they should, and they still win fights.
Yes.
And it makes the sport quite cruel as well.
It can.
Because you see guys that put in the work lose fights against guys that don't.
Yeah.
And then I've asked that to my coaches as well, is like, is life fair? Obviously it's not, but life wasn't. If that happens, life isn't fair.
You know where it I think it can be fair is the most dominant champions of all time. Like the guys in the GOAT conversation, excluding maybe John Jones.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, GSP, hardest worker in the room, committed to his craft, always in the gym, always sleeping well, always eating well. GSP.
Yes.
GSP does that. I mean, Oliveira works his ass off. Yes. You can see that guy's always in shape. Michael Chandler's always in shape.
Yes.
I mean, all the guys, world class guys. I mean, Adesanya's always in shape. You never see a fat Adesanya walking around.
Yes, of course. And also, I don't think you can really draw it down to being fat, because our fat boy Daniel Cormier is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, but I mean, he worked.
But that's the thing. He's Chubbs. That's a high performance athlete, but he worked his ass off.
I mean, for that guy to get down to 205, he was talking earlier. I saw his post fight press conference. Was talking about getting into the Hall of Fame. He worked with a nutritionist. He was eating well, sleeping well, all of those things that you need to do to be the best.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it well, you're always going to have a ceiling, and you'll always wonder, could I have been better?
Yeah. And that's also what Gagey said in his embedded video was, if you don't do the things right, when you make that walk, there's a little voice that is going to be like, did you do everything right? Did you stick to your schedule? Did you eat?
It's almost,
you cheated that once. You had that donut.
It's almost thinking like, you can think, okay, if I work my hardest, if I'm in peak physical condition, I know I'll win this fight.
Yeah.
And then you walk out there and you're like, shit, I'm not in peak physical condition.
That must be the worst feeling ever. Is being like, when you walk out, you're like,
shit, did I do enough?
Did I train enough? And I am, and credit to all my coaches and teammates and everything, because I have never had that thought of, did I do enough? It was always a thing of like, I know for a fact the guy I'm standing across did not train as hard as me.
It did not,
and did not put in the effort that I did. And I think that makes a loss also better to handle, because you know you did everything you could. Yes. Not like Carla Esparza and Rose Namajunas. They fucking didn't do anything.
Like, they're going to rewatch that fight and be like, there's a million things I could have done better, differently, and I could have easily won that fight.
Yeah, easily. That makes me so mad. I'm so glad we don't pay for pay-per-views.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't even pay for DSTV. My grandma did that.
Thank you to my stepdad for paying his DSTV.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We are back. We are trying to get more consistency. So stay tuned for next episode next week.
Cheers. People.